Well, hey there, guys. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to this special Saturday edition of Open Mic. I am, of course, your host, John Campea. It's good to have you guys here. Thank you for joining me here today. I am right now, I'm in the Campea broadcast mobile studio, also known as the van, and I'm about 3 hours north of San Francisco right now. I'm on my way up to Portland for our movie meetup tomorrow night, and I thought it'd be a kind of a good idea to do a little open mic here today while I'm taking a little bit of a layover. So I thought we'd jump in here and do that. Hope everybody's good. By the way, I'm doing this totally solo today, so can you guys let me know in the live chat if everything's looking good and sounding good? Hopefully this will all go off without a hitch. Hello to everybody's in here. And Adrian is saying, hey, John, hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Rick is saying, sounds good so far. All right. In that case, we are ready to go here, guys. So here's how open mic normally goes. And this is a much more relaxed, laid back thing rather than, the John Campea show, where basically we just spend the day taking your comments and questions. Now, if you want to get in a comment or question, this is a live show. You need to use the super chat. So you got to be watching live. Just use the super chat feature to send in a live question. And as long as I deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show, we will address it on the show. All right. Now, you guys know that I like to start off all open mics by just, taking a topic. And I asked some people on the channel today, what topic would you like? And somebody wrote in and said that, this year, while there's been some really good films this year, and there have been some very big films this year, there's also been a number of films that were pretty damn good that didn't do well at the box office at all, or at least really deserved a lot better. Movies that just didn't quite landed at the box office. It just wasn't quite able to get the audience. But a lot of people feel that despite that, it deserved to make more. So I thought it would be fun if I ran down my list of 10 in no particular order, really good movies this year that I thought deserved much better than they got at the box office. The problem is, as I was going down and putting the list together, I just realized there were too many. So I think I have like 14. So if you guys will indulge me, I've got like 14 films that I think so far have come out this year that really deserved better. Now, I'm not going to count any films in the top 10 at the box office because, yeah, maybe Fantastic Four could have made a little bit more, but the reality is it made over $500 million. So I'm going to really narrow down to films that I thought could have done much better, should have done much better than what fate dealt them at the box office. Okay, with that down, let's get into it, shall we? I'm going to start off with Drop. Drop is not a top 5 best film of the year, but I thought it was really good, very creative. I kind of like one location. I mean, it wasn't literally one location, but for the most part, it was one location. But I thought it was a really fun, interesting little movie. Unfortunately, it was only able to make $28 million or something along those lines. So I'm going to say Drop is one of those films. Another one I'm going to pull up here is Novocaine. There it is. Novocaine with Jack Quaid. Novocaine only managed to make $34 million. And Jack has 2 films on this list. He's got 2 films on this list. So one of them is Novocaine. Again, made $34 million. I'm not saying that Novocaine should have been like a, $400 million film or anything. I'm not saying that, but it deserved to make a hell of a lot more than $34 million. I thought it was a fun little movie, maybe not top 10 best movie of the year, but I thought it was a really quality, entertaining little film. And I think it should have been rewarded much better. All right. Next up, you guys know which one I'm going to go for here. Thunderbolts. I really enjoyed Fantastic Four. Okay? I really enjoyed it a lot. I liked it quite a bit. I loved Superman. But I still think Thunderbolts was the best comic book movie of the year. Now, you may not agree with me on that, and that's fine. But I think most people would still agree whether you think it was the best comic book film of the year or not. It was really damn good. It scored great critic reviews. It got great audience reviews. It was a wonderful film. Like, I thought just fantastic. Now, it made the most money out of any of the films on this list. It ended up making $382 million, I want to say. Let me double check. $382 million is what it made. And that's, I mean, a lot of films would love to make $382 million. But I think this was the best comic book film of the year. If Superman could make north of 600 million, and if Fantastic Four could make north of 500 million, and if Captain America Brave New World, which wasn't very good, can make whatever it made, I think Thunderbolts really should have made more. I mean, I'm not surprised it didn't make more. It's a bunch of B-listers that most people wouldn't know, a bunch of them from either second or third level characters in some Marvel movies or straight from a Marvel Disney Plus show. So I'm not tremendously surprised. I'm just saying the movie deserved a lot better. All right. Next one up I'm going to go with is Weapons. Now, you might be saying to yourself, but John, I thought Weapons did pretty good. Weapons did pretty good for what it was, like this smaller scale, little lower budget horror film. It made $261 million. This is, I think, a $400-500 million worthy movie. I thought, again, not a $900 million movie, but I thought Weapons was so freaking good. Right now, it's a top 5 best movie of the year for me. I couldn't believe how much I loved it. Like, I was just completely floored by it. I thought it was absolutely tremendous. And 261 ain't bad for a film like this. But I thought this movie could have easily been like a should have been a $400 million film, a $500 million film. I really thought it was great. All right, next one up. I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me, but I'm going to go The Accountant 2. I loved The Accountant, and I think The Accountant 2 was even better. Ben Affleck, John Bernthal. Listen, I was going into Accountant 2, and I didn't need this movie to be as good or better than the first one. I just hoped it would just be really good. And I thought Accountant 2 was tremendously entertaining. Not a top 5 film of the year, but I was very happy with it. And this movie only made $103 million, which I think roughly puts it around what the first one made. I can't remember what the first one made, but that's not great for Ben Affleck, John Bernthal, and for the fact that it was a really entertaining movie. I really like this franchise, and making $103 million, this is a movie that deserved better. Okay. Next up, we are going to go to, oh, that's the wrong one. There we are. We're going to go to Ballerina. Ballerina, man, I'm going to say this is a top 10 film of the year for me right now. I don't know that it's going to end up at the end of the day being a top 10 film of the year for me. Ballerina made $137 million at the box office. Deserved much more than that. This was a fun, I mean, again, I said this when I came out of the theater. Is it going to win any Oscars for best screenplay? No, it is not. But it never really tried to be. It meant to be a balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, high octane, action, fun, violent kind of film. And it was great. And, you know, when we saw that John Wick was going to be in it, I think a lot of us worried that they were going to turn John Wick into a jobber to put Ballerina over, right? Like, I think a lot of us thought they were going to, and were worried that we were going to have, oh, that John Wick's a bad man, but Ballerina's going to beat him in a fight to show how good she is. But they didn't. They made her a total badass. But when the Baba Yaga showed up, the Baba Yaga schools her. And in schooling her, it didn't diminish her at all. Like, you ever watch like a boxing match or a UFC fight or something, and there's a massive, massive underdog, and they lose, but they put up such a great fight. Like, they rise in your esteem. You know what I mean? Like, even that guy lost. I think more of him after losing that fight than I did before. Like, when they had Ballerina lose definitively to John Wick, it didn't diminish the character. It actually elevated her. And again, I just think this was a movie that deserved much better. It made $137 million. Easily should have been 300 million, 400 million. I don't think it should have made the same amount as John Wick 4 or anything like that, but it deserved better, and I kind of wish it got better. Okay. Next one we're going to do is Naked Gun. Or The Naked Gun, I guess they want to refer to it as. The Naked Gun was all sorts of hilarious. And the movie only made $101 million. Now, The Naked Gun, we live in an era now where spoof movies are totally dead. Like, the whole genre of spoof movies are dead and gone, really. We had a good era of spoof movies, like Hot Shots Part 2 and things like that. But yeah, then along came a whole streak of these spoof movies like Meet the Spartans and stuff like that. They just totally ran into the ground. We haven't had a good spoof movie in a long time. So they decided to bring back The Naked Gun. They bring in Liam Neeson, which was the perfect casting for it. And even though the third act ran out of steam a little bit, because the novelty started to wear off in the third act, it didn't matter. The first two acts were so freaking funny. This, again, is a movie that deserved at least 300 million, I think. I really think it deserved the audience. And it only managed to pull in about $101 million. All right. This is another one that I think everybody slept on. Black Bag. This, again, the type of drama that it is and everything, I'm not expecting Black Bag to be a $500 million film. But this movie has an absolute insane A-list cast. And it's great. It's a really good movie. Rob and I both love this film. And it only managed to pull in $43.5 million. So $43.5 million is not going to do it. I mean, I think you can qualify this one as a big flop. Next one up in our list of movies, 2025 movies, that deserved much better fates at the box office than they got, The Roses. I think this might be a funnier movie than Naked Gun. I go back and forth on it. I absolutely loved The Roses. This movie was so fun. This movie was so funny. I was shocked how funny it was. It's quick. The humor is sharp. The timing is impeccable. The performances, you have two of the best actors in the world right now, in Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman, who, I mean, she's in an argument for top 3 best actresses in the world right now, in my opinion. It's absolutely wonderful, and absolutely nobody saw it. The Roses made $41 million. But at least at $41 million, it made more than Nobody 2. So Nobody 2, the new Bob Odenkirk, following up a film I never thought would get a sequel. I loved the first Nobody. I really did. But nobody saw it. No pun intended. Very few people saw it. Now, granted, that might have had something to do with like the pandemic era and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. But I never expect them to give it a sequel. So I was very happy when we found out that it was getting a sequel. And it was baller fun. A great motion picture? No, not necessarily. But it was exactly what it aimed to do. Just a really good, fun film at the theaters. And I had a really good time with it. Unfortunately, nobody went to go see this one either, as The Roses only made $41 million. This one made $39.3. Again, am I saying that Nobody 2 should have been a $400 million film? No, but it certainly should have been at least 200. This is a movie that deserved to be a $200, $300 million film. Instead, it made 39.3, and that's pretty unfortunate. All right. That brings us to one of the big surprise movies of the year for me that I really, really loved, and that's Together. I admit, when I first saw the trailers for it, I mean, I love that you've got Alison Brie and Dave Franco, a real-life married couple, doing this film together. I like that, but I didn't think the trailers were particularly intriguing. I remember when they did the presentation for it at CinemaCon, I was like, I mean, I'm interested in it. It's a neat concept, but And I went into the movie. By the time I went to the movie, my excitement had grown because the trailers got better and the word of mouth got pretty good. So I went in to see Together, and man, I'll tell you what, this year you got this great triumvirate in Weapons, Sinners, and Together. It is a great year for horror films. Together was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It's both creepy as hell and very funny in places all at the same time. But don't be put off by the fact that I said it's very funny in places. Yes, it is very funny in places. But it at its core is this really creepy horror kind of thing at the same time. So they don't lose sight of that. It's a wonderful film. Unfortunately, Together only managed to pull $32 million at the box office. It's not a movie that was made or marketed, again, to be a $300 or $400 million film, but man, oh man, this movie deserved way better than $32.2 million at the box office. All right. Another one up is this little wartime film that everybody saw, and I admit I was late to the party on it as well, but Warfare. Warfare is intense. It's visceral. The performances are all top notch. It's got this intensity to it that just never kind of lets up throughout it. It's a wonderful film. And listen, don't misquote me. I'm not saying it will get a Best Picture nomination. All I'm saying is that I would not rule it out that it could get a Best Picture nomination. Again, when I do my predictions as we get closer to Oscar season, I probably won't have Warfare in my prediction list. But what I am seeing is I won't be shocked. Not only was the movie great, I know a lot of key people in the Academy really liked it, and nobody went to go see it. $33.6 million is all it managed to pull together, and it deserved better. Okay. Next one up is a film that I didn't like the trailers for. I was not really interested in it other than the fact that it had Tom Hiddleston in it, and that is The Life of Chuck. This is one that I was really impressed by when I saw it. I mean, the movie's a meditation is the best way I know how to put it. It's a meditation. And even though it's really billed as a Tom Hiddleston movie, come see Loki in this movie. It's a big Tom Hiddleston movie. Tom Hiddleston is not actually in the film very much. He's really not. He's in about a third of the film. It's bigger than him. Mark Hamill, I'm not saying his character is the best character he's ever played. That's obviously Luke Skywalker. But I think this is the best performance Mark Hamill's ever given, and I include his voice performance as Joker in that. At me if you want. I think it's his best performance, playing the grandfather. He's so good in it. And again, I'm not saying this is a top 10 film of the year, but Life of Chuck only managed to make $17.2 million. And again, I just think it deserved better. All right. Now, this one, I think a lot of you guys will disagree with me because it did not have great critic reviews. It didn't have great, wonderful audience reviews. I'm going to give it a second. I want to see if any of you guys in the live chat know what I'm going to bring up here. So again, a movie that didn't have great critic reviews, a movie that didn't have great audience reviews, but I think it was underrated. I enjoyed the film. Again, not a top 10 film of the year, and I think it deserved a lot better. And right out of the gate, Sir Malmsteen gets it. Yep. I'm going to say Death of a Unicorn. Lower budget, absolutely. Some cheesy effects, absolutely. But also some really good effects in some areas. And I thought it was a fun little film. I really did. And unfortunately, I mean, you have Paul Rudd, you have Jenna Ortega in it. But it only managed... Okay, you got Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega in it. And it only manages to make $16.4 million. Now, Jenna Ortega is not the biggest star in the world. Paul Rudd is not the biggest star in the world. But Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd are both big stars. And you would think their name power... by the way, Will Poulter's in it too. And Will Poulter is tremendous in it. But again, you would think that just Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd, just on their name alone, could pull in more than $16 million. I mean, $16 million sounds like what it should have made on its first Friday. Again, I'm not saying this movie should have been a $400 million film, but $16.4 million is all it managed to pull together. I think that is really a shame. I think some of you may disagree, but I really think Death of a Unicorn deserved much better than $16 million. All right, the last film on my list here today of the 2025 movies that I think deserved much better fates at the box office than they got. Our second Jack Quaid movie on the list, Companion. I think Companion might actually be one of Rob's top 3 favorite films of the year. And I thought it was wonderful. Now, again, it's not like we haven't seen the themes and issue and things in it like we've seen it in other movies before, right? We've seen the themes and the tropes in other movies before. But I just thought it was very, very well done, especially for a lower budget film. And the movie only ended up making $36.8 million. Now, again, Companion was never going to be a $275 million film. But, man, it deserved to be a $275 million film. I think. I think it deserved to be a $275 million film. So, going to run down the list again of the movies that I thought deserved much better than they got at the box office. Drop, that made $28.7 million. Novocaine, Jack Quaid, made $34 million only. Thunderbolts deserved more than $382 million. It couldn't even make a Black Adam. Got close to Black Adam, but didn't even make a Black Adam. Weapons, I think, deserved way better than $261 million. The Accountant 2 should have made at least double than its $103 million. Ballerina should have made at least double of what it made at $137 million. Naked Gun deserved to make more than $101 million. Black Bag absolutely deserved to make more than $43.5 million. The Roses deserved to make loads more than $41 million. Nobody 2 deserved better than $39.3 million. Together is a wonderful little horror film. How it did not easily make $150 million is beyond me. It only ended up making $32.2. Warfare, going to be on a lot of people's top 10 lists this year. $33.6 million only. The Life of Chuck made $17.2. Death of a Unicorn deserved better than $16 million. And I think Companion deserved more than $36.8 million. So that's my list, guys. Let me know in the live chat there if you guys have some other movies that you think truly deserved a much better fate than the fate they got at the box office. Sir Malstom saying Elio. I don't know that Elio deserved better than it got, to be honest with you. Now, Dingus is saying Long Walk. Okay, but Long Walk just started. That's why I didn't include Long Walk on this list. It deserved to be better, higher up on the weekend chart than it did, but it's just kind of started its run, so I decided not to include it on the list. Listen, some people saying Final Destination. I don't think we should include Final Destination. Final Destination, I think, exceeded its expectations. When you exceed your where did it end up here? So Final Destination, where is it? Final Destination Bloodlines made over $300 million. And I don't know that a lot of people were expecting it to make that much money. So I think when you exceed your expectations, I don't think we can put it on our, didn't deserve much better, Dingus McNally is saying Mickey 17. I don't know that it deserved much better than it did. Yeah, I don't know that deserved much better than it did. So anyway, there you go, guys. All right, if you're watching this video a little bit later on, jump down into the comments and let us know what other movies from 2025 so far you think deserved better than the fate they got. All right, guys. With that down, let's get on to the reason we're here, shall we? And start taking your live comments and questions, shall we? So let's get over to it, and we're going to start things off here with Mr. I, who writes, the job of a comedian, no, not Mr. I, Screen Speak is the first one. Let me just adjust this. Screen Speak, there we go, is our first one. Do you still plan to do a movie meetup in Ohio? Yes. I got concerned when you said that you might not be able to come back from Canada yesterday. Oh yeah, I mean, listen, I'm going to go up and visit my dad, and the Gestapo, that is the current American government, has been. I mean, it's all over the Canadian news. Canadians are getting detained, and I've been detained before, and I honestly don't know if they're going to let me back in. Like, my time living here might be over, and maybe I shouldn't risk going back to visit my dad, but I really need to see my dad. So I'm going to go. And, I'll probably get back in, but I almost guarantee you I'll get detained again. I'll get detained again. But whether or not I get detained for, 2 hours or 3 days or 2 weeks, I don't know. We'll see. But, I mean, I shouldn't even be detained. I am a verified, totally legitimate green card holder, which means I am classified as a legal permanent resident of the United States. I don't have my citizenship, but that doesn't matter. I have a green card that qualifies me as a legal permanent resident of the United States. I have absolutely zero criminal record. I don't even have any charges against me in my life. I don't even have a parking ticket. I'm not kidding. I'm not using hyperbole. I don't have a parking ticket. I don't have a speeding ticket. I have nothing. There's no reason in the world I should be detained at the border when I do. But I get detained at the border a lot because I'm kind of vocal on social media. And we'll see. So yes, the plan is still to do an Ohio meetup. Absolutely, that's going to happen. But if I get denied entry back into the United States, then you'll know why I got detained, and I clearly won't be able to do an Ohio meetup. So hopefully there won't be any problems. All right. Let's see. Next up, we've got, that was Screen Speak. Next up should be Orange Hand, who writes, do you use the standard campaign settings when playing Dungeons and Dragons, or have you tried any other source books? Well, I don't know what you mean by other source books. I mean, when we play Dungeons and Dragons, Anne's our dungeon master. And when we play Dungeons and Dragons, we play the core rulebook. And we have lots of other books that we use for references, but that are official Dungeons and Dragons. So we use lots of books, but we play by the core mechanics of, what's the current edition? 5e? Is that the current edition? I can't remember what the name of the current edition is. But when we play by the current edition. All right. Next up. Thank you, Orange Hand. We got Alex. And Alex writes, thoughts on Taylor Swift doing an event in theaters again? Listen, it made them gobs of money the last time she did it. So, and right now, it's kind of thin in the theaters right now. So I know movie theaters are going to love anything that puts butts in the seats. They're going to love anything that puts butts in the seats. So listen, it's not going to make as much money as her last one did. That was insane. But yeah, I mean, it's good for the movie theaters, and anything that's good for the movie theaters is okay by me. All right. Next up, we got Raymond Verada, who came to our San Francisco meet and greet movie meetup last night. He says, Regal in Dublin looks better than the AMC's in San Francisco. I was really impressed with the Regal Theater in Dublin. I thought it looked great. The seats were super comfortable. The picture was great. The lobby and the lounge felt like you were at an event. It felt like you're going out to it felt great. I was really impressed by it myself. Raymond also wrote, nice to finally meet you, John. Enjoy the views. Listen, one of the things I told Raymond last night, and I've said this to a few people, was now we've done many meetups now. So we've done Portland, San Diego, Albuquerque, Denver, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, and now San Francisco area. And one of the really cool things is when somebody comes up and says, I'm so-and-so, and they say their username. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been reading you on my channel for 5 years. So meeting Raymond was really fun, and meeting people whose names I recognize is really, really one of the great fun things about doing these movie meetups. All right. Thank you for that, Raymond. Next up, we got Mighty Tank 1, who writes, do you think Iman Vellani can break away from the MCU and land other roles? That's a good question. Okay, first of all, I am clearly a bit biased when it comes to Alan Milani because she's a good Canadian kid. She grew up like practically up the street from where I am, figuratively speaking. Like she grew up pretty close to where I grew up. And I think she is so good in Ms. Marvel. I think she is so good as Ms. Marvel. She was absolutely the highlight of the Marvels. I think Ms. Marvel is maybe the second or third best Disney Plus Marvel series so far. I think she's incredible. But I've only ever seen her as Ms. Marvel. I don't know. I mean, I know she can be Ms. Marvel, but I have not seen a wide enough, repertoire from her yet to really have an opinion on if I think she has the chops, yes or no, to get picked up with other things. So yeah, as of right now, I don't know. I think I need to see, again, I think she's great as Ms. Marvel, and I hope she can find more success. I'm just in a place that I haven't seen enough of her work yet to really have a strong feeling about whether or not I think she can break out outside of the MCU or not. I certainly hope that she can. All right. Next up, we've got Suthius, who writes, what do you think, Mr. C? Will Marie be the answer to ending Homelander once and for all? Could Gen V Season 2 be preparing and unlocking her full potential? Okay, so I got around the other night to finally watching the first 3 episodes of Gen V Season 2. And, I was saying that it's a little awkward feeling because the one kid, he wasn't a kid, but, one of the main stars of the show from season 1 died in between seasons. And they kind of had a T'Challa situation where they decided, instead of trying to recast the character, they decide to write the character out and say the character died. And I still don't know if that was the right choice, because you certainly did feel a little bit of that awkwardness watching Gen V. Like, you can clearly tell they were not planning on not having that character there. They were clearly not planning on having to write the death of the character. But they did pull it off pretty well. Anyway, getting back to Marie. When I remember in season 1, when you've got somebody who can control blood, that person is a threat to Homelander. That person is clearly a threat to Homelander. I'm talking season 1 Marie is a problem for Homelander. A season 2 Marie, who is being specifically trained to reach her actual full potential, could become a very big problem for Homelander. So right now, only being 3 episodes in, my guess right now is that Marie is going to be a part of the last season of The Boys. By the way, I may change my mind after we watch the next couple of episodes of Gen V. But right now, after watching 3 episodes, my guess is, and it's just a guess, like as a fan, I'm purely guessing. My guess is she's going to be a part of the final season of The Boys and part of the war against Homelander. Maybe against Homelander and Soldier Boy. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, they're clearly setting her up as something very, very powerful. Maybe bred to be an answer to Homelander. I don't know. We'll see how they handle it. All right, next up, we've got. Thanks for that, Suthius. JW writes, announced first: DCU Batman, MCU X-Men, or next Bond. Ooh. You know what? I'll tell you this. I think all of these are close. I do not think we are far away from them announcing who the new Batman is. I do not think we are far away from getting an official MCU X-Men announcement. And I think we are very close to getting who is the next James Bond announcement. Because remember, they've already announced the director for it. So I think they probably have their guy. So I'm going to say this. Pure guess. I'm thinking the next thing we're going to get announced is who our new James Bond is. I think the next thing we're going to get announced is who the new Batman is. And then the next thing we're going to get announced is MCU X-Men. The reason I'm going to put MCU X-Men last is because I think there is a chance they may hold off on announcing the new X-Men project until after Doomsday is out. And that's a ways off. So I think in order, and I could be totally wrong, it's going to be James Bond, Batman, the new X-Men announcement. So we'll see if I'm right or totally wrong on that. All right, thanks for that, man. Next up, Alex writes, do you think Tom is the most definitive Spider-Man, knowing he has 4 movies, been in Avengers movies, and potential new trilogy? I don't envision another future actor to play Peter Parker doing that. I think there's a difference. It depends on your definition, but I think there's a difference between who's played the character the most and who is your definitive Spider-Man. I love all 3 of our Spider-Men. I mean, if you count the animated Miles, I love all 4. But if we're going to talk about the live-action Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland, I think have all been fantastic. They've all had their own very unique takes on Spider-Man, and I think all of them have been great. Frankly, my favorite is Andrew Garfield. But it's super close. Like, I love all 3 of them. But even though Tom Holland has been, like, you make a good point, not only has he had his own very successful Spider-Man films, he's been in Avengers movies. The answer may change 5 years from now, but right now, even though Andrew Garfield is my favorite, and 5 years and then onward, Tom Holland may become the definitive Spider-Man, but right now, I still kind of think the definitive Spider-Man is Tobey Maguire. Like, I think still when I think of Spider-Man, I think of Tobey. Now, after Secret Wars and Doomsday and Spider-Man, Brand New Day, and all the other ones come, you know what? Tom Holland is going to become the definitive Spider-Man. He's going to be the Spider-Man for a much longer generation, and he's just going to have been in so much stuff that maybe that will be him someday. But I think right now, and I could be wrong, but I think right now it's Tobey Maguire. All right, great question, man. Thanks, Alex. Next up, we've got the Autonomous Penguin, who sends in like a $20 tip. Thank you, Autonomous Penguin, for supporting us on that level, man. And Autonomous Penguin writes, with the cost of living increasing, I feel it has made audiences more cautious with the movies they choose to see. I think that's been true for several years. What do studios have to do to entice people in their movies? And do they need to be in better control of budgets? Well, I mean, those are 2 completely different issues. I've been saying for over a decade that movie studios need to control their budgets much better. They need to reel it in, because the budgets for a lot of these movies has spun out of control faster than inflation has. Like, with inflation, naturally budgets of movies are going to go up, right? The price of everything goes up. The price of making a movie will go up. But the thing is, budgets on a lot of big films have spiraled way faster than inflation. And I think that's a big thing. Now, what do they need to do to entice people back to the theaters? I don't really think it's a studio thing, but really more a part of the theaters. First of all, studios need to decrease their budgets. If they decrease their budgets or they keep their budgets in check, then they don't need as much of a return to break even. If they don't need as much as a return to break even and be profitable, then they don't need to have the theaters increase the movie prices. Because remember, when movie theaters increase prices, it's not really the theaters that are doing it, it's actually the studios that are doing it. So if they can get their spending in control, that means they can hold the line on prices and stop raising prices on tickets. That will help. But I also think the theaters have to take responsibility too. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to go off on my full rant again, I promise. But this whole thing of, hey, come to the movies and sit down and thank you for paying us $20 for a movie ticket. Thank you. We're going to make you watch a half hour of commercials now. But you said the movie starts at 7. Well, we said show time's at 7. Sit down and watch 30 minutes. Sit down and watch a half hour of ads. Trailers and commercials and all that kind of. I didn't pay to watch ads. I paid to watch a movie. Yeah, but you're going to watch ads anyway. I really missed the day of the ArcLight Theater where they had a rule, 3 trailers in the movie. 3 trailers, then the movie. Simple as that. So little things like increasing the viewer experience, making sure people know when their movies actually start. Let people know when their movies actually end. Well, John, they give the runtime, but yeah, giving us the runtime is useless unless we know what time the movie actually starts. AMC has taken a bit of a step in the right direction by telling people movie actually starts 25 to 30 minutes after the listed show time. Okay, at least that's something. But I don't know, call me crazy. I think if you, like when I go to a basketball game, right? When Ann and I go to a Laker game and we spend, there's a reason we only go to a couple of games a year. When we spend a couple $100 on tickets and you tell me games at 7 o'clock, guess what? The game doesn't start at 7:30. The game doesn't start at 7:45. The game pretty much starts at 7 o'clock, maybe 7:05 or something like that. So when I buy a plane ticket for, $300 to take me back to Toronto or $500 to take me back to Toronto, and it says departure, sometimes there will be delays that are outside of their control, sure. But generally speaking, when they say flight departs at 8 o'clock, guess what? Normally the flight departs at 8 o'clock. See, again, sometimes there are delays, but that's unavoidable. I call me crazy. I think if you buy a ticket for $18 to go to a movie, I just promised I wouldn't go off on my rant again, didn't I? And yet here I am. I apologize, but call me crazy. I think if you spend $18, $19, $20 on a ticket to go to a movie that they tell you starts at 7 o'clock, I don't know, maybe your fucking movie should start at 7 o'clock. Wow, what a concept. I don't know. This is just me. All right. Thanks a lot for supporting us on that level, Autonomous, again, man. And thank you for the question, dude. All right, next up. We got, where are we at? We got Orange Hand, who writes in, when a film is controversial or divisive, and the filmmakers say they knew people would react this way, do you believe them, or are they trying to save face? Well, no, it all depends. Like, divisive, like a movie like Man of Steel was divisive, right? I feel like half the people I talked to liked it, and half the people I talked to didn't like it. You should all love it. It's awesome. But all film is subjective. A lot of people don't like it. But then you get movies that by nature are going to be controversial. I don't care how good Antoine Fuqua does with the new Michael movie, and I expect that movie's going to be really good, and I expect it's going to make a hell of a lot of money. It's going to be a $1 billion film, I think. But the very nature of the subject matter of Michael Jackson invites controversy. And so it's going to be controversial. That I think filmmakers can know. Like Clint Eastwood made $1 Million Baby. Is that what it was called? $1 Million Baby? Anyway, the boxing movie. You know what I'm talking about. And it ends with, spoiler alert for this 25-year-old movie, it ends with Clint Eastwood's character deciding to help her commit suicide. Clint Eastwood knew making that movie that would be a controversial, it would be a controversial ending. At best, it's going to be controversial. You can know that. But that's different than just making a movie that isn't necessarily controversial, but it divides. Like Man of Steel is not a controversial movie. Man of Steel is a divisive movie. So when filmmakers make a controversial movie and they say, yes, we knew some people would not like this, well, yeah, that's not a cop-out. That's common sense. But if a filmmaker, and by the way, Zack Snyder never did this, but I'm just saying for the sake of the discussion, if Zack Snyder said, Kim, yeah, I knew a lot of people wouldn't like Man of Steel, well, that would be a cop-out. And again, Zack Snyder never did that. That would be a cop-out because that's just, again, to me, controversial and divisive are two different things, at least the way I think about it. All right. Thanks a lot for that, man, John. And you, Orange Hand. Thank you, man. Next up, we do go to John. John Darius sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you, John, for supporting us on that level, man. And John writes, hey, Campea, I'm curious, how soon do you believe a new company will buy Warner Brothers? I don't think it'll be fast. And is it like Reeves or Gunn will be let go with a new CEO keeping the others the other based on their film's financial success / audience reputation. Well, we talked about this the other day. A week or two ago, we did a topic that, hey, if Paramount or anybody else, but we specifically talked about Paramount, if Paramount bought Warner Brothers, is James Gunn's job in trouble, or Peter Safran's? And I said there are a couple of reasons why it could be in trouble, right? I said, number one, sometimes when new management comes in, they want a clean slate. I often compare it a lot to sports. I mean, I know people go crazy when I bring up sports analogies, but it's true. Like sometimes when a new GM comes in, one of the first things they'll do is let the coach go, because the coach isn't their guy. That wasn't their coach. And they just kind of want a clean slate. They want a clean slate. They want to bring in a brand new training staff, a brand new coaching staff, all that kind of stuff. It happens. And if Paramount were to take over Warner Brothers, it is conceivable that they may want, Elson may want to put his own person in charge, somebody that he trusts and somebody that he already knows. That's possible. It's also possible that maybe Elson comes in and just, doesn't like James Gunn movies and decides he wants somebody else running Warner Brothers. So those are reasons why I think it is possible that like James Gunn's job could be in trouble if a new owner comes in and owns Warner Brothers. However, there are also a bunch of reasons why you shouldn't believe that his job would be in any sort of trouble. Right? Number one is James Gunn and Peter Safran reviving the DC brand is one of the reasons you buy Warner Brothers. It's probably very much a factor of why Paramount wants Warner Brothers, is because they've got a DC that's being led by James Gunn and Peter Safran that completely crushed it with Superman. The ratings for Peacemaker have gone through the roof. They're off to a great start. And so having James Gunn there is one of the reasons you want to buy Warner Brothers. The second thing is this. It would be a disaster to try to reset and restart DC all over again. They just did it successfully. They're having success. And so to just come in and say, okay, I know you just rebooted the DC universe, but we're going to do it again, I think would be a total disaster for them. So I do think there are several reasons why it is possible that if like an Ellison at Skydance and Paramount or anybody else buys Warner Brothers, that James Gunn could be on the way out. Maybe they want a clean slate. Maybe they want to put their own people in that position, whatever. But I really don't expect that to happen. When you're buying Warner Brothers, part of the reason you're buying is because you get James Gunn running DC, and it would be a complete, utter disaster for them to try to reboot already, especially when things have started off with success. So, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen here. Anyway, Dingus McNally, it's like, what if they bring back the Snyderverse? Guys, I can tell you this. Some people were kind of hoping that Netflix would get by Warner Brothers so that they'll bring back the Snyderverse after the complete disaster of those. And I'm a Zack Snyder fan, guys, but those two, what were the name of the damn Rebel Moon? Two of the worst motion pictures ever made in history, and everybody hates. Guys, I'm sorry to break it to you but even if Netflix ends up buying Warner Brothers, I'm sorry to break it to you, they're not bringing back the Snyderverse. I'm not arguing your belief that they should bring it back or shouldn't bring it back, but I'm sorry to break it to you, they're not bringing it back. Whether you think they should or shouldn't, that's up for debate. There's a good discussion to be had there. But Netflix is not bringing back the Snyderverse, especially after the disaster of the Rebel Moon movies, let alone the disaster that the Snyderverse ended up being. And again, I say that as a Zack Snyder fan, somebody who loved every movie he made in the Snyderverse. They are not bringing back the Snyderverse under any circumstances. So you might as well just let that go. All right. Next up, thanks for that, John Darrison. Thank you for supporting us on that level, man. Next up, we've got Suthius, who writes, man, I'm already seeing whining from people who think that just because Sasha Bordeaux, she's Flag's right-hand girl in Argus in Peacemaker Season 2, is a cyborg, that they think she's actually the cyborg character. Yeah, I've seen that. Guys, Sacha Bordeaux is a character from the comics. And yes, in this episode, they referred to her as a cyborg because she is a cyborg. That does not mean she is Cyborg, the character. Reach up to your butthole, yank out your little panties that got sucked up into it, pull them out, and take a deep breath. She's not Cyborg. Okay? She's a completely different character. Right? Totally different character. Take a deep breath. She is not Cyborg. Okay. All right. Next up. Thanks for that, Suthius. John Darius writes in again and says, I firmly believe the Batman 2 will go over expectations. I just wonder if and when we get the DCU Batman and audiences are not happy with Gunn's film, what changes may happen in the future for the studio? None. Absolutely none. Number one, so far James Gunn is batting 1,000. Right? Every movie he's made has worked. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean it worked for you. All film is subjective. But overall, when you calculate all the numbers, every James Gunn film has worked. And there's no reason to believe that people aren't going to like the new Batman. But here's the thing. Even if they do Brave and the Bold and do this new Batman movie, and let's say the movie doesn't go over well, okay? The thing that destroyed, one of the many things, I should say, that destroyed the old DCEU is that instead of being proactive and intentional, Warner Brothers, under the ownership of AT&T, which is a totally different ownership than the ones they have now, were way overly reactive. Like, okay, we got this plan. Oh, we got this great big plan. Yay, we got this plan. Oh no, something didn't go right. Change everything. And it's that mentality that was one of the reasons that the DCU ultimately failed. They kept trying to change directions with every little success. They're like, oh, let's change everything because of this little success. And every little failure, oh, let's pivot and let's do this. Have a plan and stick to it for a while. Again, I'm going to use a sports analogy, okay, guys? Hang in there with me. But, like when the LA Rams go into a game and Matthew Stafford's at quarterback, you've got a game plan, right? If Matthew Stafford throws the first pass and it's incomplete, you don't go, oh my God, we got an incompletion. Oh, well, let's throw away our game plan. Let's throw away our plan. We got to change everything. That's not what winning teams do. Right? Winning teams stick to the plan until they've stuck with the plan long enough that they can clearly see if it's working or not working. If they put out, and this is a big stretch, but even if they put out their first Batman movie and for whatever reason it doesn't work, they are not going to panic like the old AT&T owned Warner Brothers did. They're not going to suddenly tear up their plans. They're not suddenly going to deviate, from the strategy. They're going to stick with it. Believing that in the plan, believing in their strategy. And maybe the first one doesn't work. Okay, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Now, if they do 2 or 3 things and none of it works, well, then you start to going, okay, time to go back to the drawing board. Let's go in at halftime. Let's chart up a new plan. But you don't just panic and start running around. The sky is falling. Oh, if the first thing doesn't work, right? You got to stick to it, and let's see how it goes. By the way, I'm noticing that my picture quality is really good, but I'm noticing every once in a while, tell me if it's just me, guys, I'm noticing every once in a while my picture freezes. Like, not for long, like just freezes quickly. Are you guys getting that same thing too? Just let me know if you're getting that same thing as I am. But it looks like the picture quality is staying really good though, so that's good. Anyway. Okay. Let's keep going on here. And Rick is saying, yes, it's freezing. I don't know how to fix that. It freezes and it comes back. Oh, well. I'll work on something for that to fix that later. Okay. Next up. We've got, you can't see it. You know what? Let me see if I can bring it so you can have it actually pop up on your screen here. Give me a second. By the way, I've turned off super chats, guys. But give me a second here to make sure I can get the next question up and on screen. Just give me a moment. Little technical issue, but nothing I can't handle. Okay, where are we at? We are at, I believe we just had Suthius's question. No, John Darius's question. All right. Next up, we got Super Saiyan 13 who writes, "Hey John, would you ever consider a movie meetup in the UK? Probably not. Where UK, whenever you travel here, even if it's post-retirement, we'd love to have one for us UK fans." Well, I mean, the movie, first of all, I've always wanted to go to the UK. Ever since the movie blog days, some of my most core, most awesome viewers and readers and watchers have been in the UK. And I've always wanted to go. But the movie meetups are specifically about me getting in the van and driving around the country. Last I checked, there is no bridge that takes me to the UK, so I can't do that. Also, to do a movie meetup in the UK would be extremely expensive. However, I will say this. If other circumstances, be it vacation or something else along those lines, does bring me to the UK, then I will do a movie meetup there. If I end up being in the UK, I couldn't be in the UK and not do a movie meetup while I'm there. So if circumstances align, then I will absolutely do it. All right. Okay. Next up, we've got EJ, I think is next. Yes, EJ Tan writes, "Hey John, hope you're having a great day. I am having a great day. Thank you. Anyways, what do you think about the idea of the day after tomorrow being shown at the Las Vegas Sphere? Can you imagine how breathtaking it would be?" We're talking about the one with Kurt Russell, right? Where like everything freezes. Like is that the one we're talking about? Because sometimes I get that one confused with the day after tomorrow being the old 80s nuclear film. Am I thinking of the right one, guys? Let me know in the live chat if I'm thinking of the right one. If I am thinking of the right one, I mean, listen, I think if you're going to do one at the Sphere, you do a popular movie. And the reality is, day after tomorrow, if it's the one I'm thinking of, wasn't that popular. So, oh yeah, it wasn't Kurt Russell, it was Dennis Quaid. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to take a pass on that one. I think there are other movies that could do much better and would actually attract an audience more. So I would probably, if they were to ask my advice on it, EJ, I would probably say no, do something else. All right. Zarian the Barbarian writes, "If you could adapt any novel, piece of fiction, etc. into a film, what would it be and why?" Well, I got to kind of take a pass on it because I've always had the one that I've wanted. My whole career, there has been one novel that I've wanted adapted back to the screen. Even though it was done in the early 80s, there has been one novel I have wanted. And that was Shogun. And we got it. And we got it gloriously. Now, they made it into a series instead of a movie, but whatever. It was absolutely gorgeous and perfect in every single way. Won all the Emmy Awards, which it totally deserved. It's the best television show in ages. So we got what I wanted. So that's the book, Shogun, and we already kind of got it. But that's the one I've wanted for my whole career, ever since the movie blog days. Whenever the question would have come in, and it's come in hundreds of times over the years, what book would you want adapted? I've said for years and years and years and years, Shogun, 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 and we finally got it. So that's the one, man. All right, thanks for that, Zarian. Next up, Robert Presser writes, "I really hope the next villain, or at least one of them in the Batman 2, is Professor Pig. He would work really well in that universe, and the creep factor would be a 20 out of 10. Hush would be great too." Yeah, but I mean, it all depends. Like, let's put it this way. If you have the right writer on board, and let's face it, they do, you can take any character and give them the highest creep factor of anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Professor Pig. They could take Calendar Man And if they write him the right way, he could be the greatest villain in any Batman movie ever, depending on how they write him, right? I always go back to this. Yes, Professor Pig is a great character in the comic, but that doesn't mean you need it or that it will translate well onto screen. Again, Doctor Doom is arguably, to some people, the greatest comic book villain of all time. Not to me. I think he's great, but a lot of people think he's the best. They did 3 movies with Doctor Doom. That didn't save any of them. It all comes down to the writing. And so if you write it well, so yes, if you have a Professor Pig and it's written well, that could be great, but it could be a different character and still be just as good or even more. So it all depends, right? It really all depends on how they do it. But I think Professor Pig is one that would kind of be in Matt Reeves' wheelhouse, so we'll see. All right. Thanks for that, Robert. Next up, Breathing Nerdum writes, I feel like Marvel's dip right now really hurt Thunderbolts. Oh, absolutely, that was part of it, 100%. Despite it being probably my favorite standalone Marvel film since probably 2017. Yeah, listen, I think there are a number of things, a number of factors that hurt Thunderbolts. One is the fact that ever since Endgame, Marvel films have been hit and miss. Like, some people call it comic book movie fatigue. That's a myth. There's no such thing. What there is mediocre movie fatigue. It's not a coincidence that they made comic book films for years and 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 years. And every year, by the way, I would get told on all of my shows, comic book movie fatigue setting in now. No, it's not, and it didn't. Okay, now comic book movie fatigue setting in, and then 3 comic book movies hit $1 billion that year. No, it isn't. And then year after year after year after year after year. It is not a coincidence that when the overall quality of comic book movies started to drop and they became hit and miss, that box office started to drop. Everybody's acting, oh no, that's just a pure coincidence. It's comic book movie fatigue. No, it's not. It's not a coincidence. When comic book movies were firing in all cylinders and Marvel film after Marvel film after Marvel film was just banger after banger after banger, box office was incredibly high. The moment those films start to become hit and miss and their overall quality starts to drop, the box office starts to drop. That's not a coincidence, guys. In Vision's words, it's called causality. It's cause and effect. But Thunderbolts also had several other things working against it. Number one, the immediate movie before it was bad. Captain America: Brave New World is a bad film. Now, all due respect, if you liked it, all film is subjective. If you liked it, that's awesome. I'm not trying to discredit your opinion of it. But for me, it was a bad film, even though I was really excited about it. And Anthony Mackie's a boss. He deserved better. So you've got a bad movie. You're following up a bad movie made up of all B and C list characters that were throwaways from some MCU movies and Disney Plus shows. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised about what it got. But yes, that was absolutely one of the factors, man. It was absolutely one of the factors. All right, next up, we got Wayne who writes, John, sometimes you have an estimate of the marketing budget of a film. Is there a site where this is posted? I wish it was available like production budgets. No, there is no official list anywhere where studios advertise there's no Box Office Mojo where you can go and get all the official box office data. There's nothing like that for production budgets or marketing budgets. There's nothing you can go. Now, they do have to release their financials eventually because publicly traded companies and all that kind of stuff, but you just have to get it from sources that you have, or they'll reveal the amount and stuff like that. But no, unfortunately, there's no Box Office Mojo for things like marketing budgets. Good question, though, man. Excellent question. All right. Next up, we've got Andy, who writes, 1 of 3. I watched at least 100 films that came out each year for the last 3 years. Nice. And doing that, I better understand your philosophy where you didn't have to watch everything. I don't mind having to spend money on a ticket, but I mind spending my time and I want to spend on other things in life. How do you manage what films to spend your time on? So first of all, excellent question, Andy. Thank you for sending that in. So yeah, when I was doing the movie blog and even in my early AMC days, I saw everything. I was a professional in the movie punditry space. So I watched everything, and I did pretty much. I pretty much watched everything. And I would go to all the red carpets, and I would go to all the press junkets, and. But at some point I realized, you know what? I give myself permission to not watch everything. Because as Andy just really very eloquently pointed out, time is a non-refundable commodity. You can't get your time back. It's a limited resource. You lose some money, that's okay, you can make some more money. You can't get back time. Time you spend is time that is gone. And yeah, so for me, I have a couple of factors that go into it. And then I got to balance those factors out. Number one is that a movie I'm interested in? And I gave myself permission a long time ago that if there's a movie I'm really not interested in, I don't have to go see it. I give myself permission to not go see it if I don't want to. There's other things I can watch. The second thing I did, the second factor is how much are other people looking forward to it? So if there's a movie I'm not really interested in, but everybody else, including a lot of my viewers, are super stoked about it, well, then there's a chance I may go see it anyway, right? Because if everybody who watches my show is really excited about it, then they'll probably want to hear me talk about it. So I balance it out, right? I balance it out. Like maybe there's a movie I'm not really interested in, but it's not like I actively hate the idea of seeing it, and a bunch of people are excited about it. Okay, I'll go see it. But like, for instance, I know that Demon Slayer is not for me. I know a lot of people are really excited about it. I know a lot of people really love it, which is awesome. But I know it's not for me. So there's no point in me watching it and no point in me talking about it. On the other hand, like there have been shows and there have been movies that I have not been interested in, but everybody seemed totally psyched about it, and then I go see it. And sometimes I end up being pleasantly surprised and liking it. But yeah, that's why I laugh. I think one of the dumbest things people can say, and I know I'm a little biased because I'm not really a film critic, but I do film criticism, so take this for what it's worth. I think one of the absolute stupidest things you can say is, go see the movie and make up your own mind. That's one of the dumbest things you can say. Film criticism, and again, I'm not a proper film critic like the real ones, but film criticism is no different than any other area. I think we as people, including we as movie fans, need to become more educated consumers. We need to make educated decisions. Don't listen to the critics, just go see it yourself and make up your own mind. Well, that's a lot of time. Are you saying I should go watch everything? That I should see everything? I should go spend my time and my energy. Like, to me, when I buy a new computer or a new webcam, right? By the way, I've got a new webcam on my laptop here. It's the Insta360. What is it? It's the Insta360 Link 2 is what it's called. It's really nice. It'll follow me around. Always make sure I'm kind of centered. It has a really good image. Anyway, I spent 3 weeks reading tons of reviews of the Ozbot webcam, the new who's the maker of Stream Deck again? Elgato, the new Elgato face cam, the Insta360. I spent weeks researching and reading reviews because money is precious. And if I'm going to drop like $200 on a webcam, I want to make sure I've read all the reviews. I want to see what people are saying about it. They may have different opinions than me, but I want to be an educated consumer. And so this notion of, I never listen to the critics, I just go see it myself and make up my own mind. Well, you should listen to critics at least a little bit to gauge whether or not you think it's going to be a movie you might like or not, because you can't spend your day going to every single movie. And that philosophy means going to see every single movie. Or you can be a more educated consumer and listen to what people are saying about it. And in listening to what people say about it, somebody may hate the movie, but the way that they describe it may go, yeah, you didn't like it, but what you're describing is actually kind of stuff that I like and that would appeal to me. Therefore, I'm going to go see it. Right? So I think we should all be more informed consumers before dropping our money and dropping our time on something. So yeah, that's why I give myself permission not to go to everything. All right. Next up is Super Nintendo Chalmers, who writes, I think I'll go see Fantastic Four one last time in the theaters because when will I ever see it there again? Have you ever done that? Absolutely. 100%. Many times. You know, I'm the type of guy that I will go to the movie theaters 2, 3, 4 times to watch a movie if I really like it. Sometimes more than that. Like, I can't remember how many times I went to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. And I think I ended up seeing Superman in theaters 5 times. I think I did. Anyway. But yeah, absolutely. There have been movies that I really liked that when it was coming close to the end of its theatrical run, Ann and I have gone, you know, we should probably go and see it one more time. There have been many times we've done that. And so, yes, I'm right there with you, man. I've totally done that too. All right, next up. Andy writes, I know the speculation for Peacemaker Season 2 is that Peacemaker is on Earth X, or a version of Earth X, is on Earth X, but I still prefer to call it by its original fitting name, Earth Twitter. I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere, and I'm just missing it. Yes, again, I'm sure there's a joke in there, and I'm sure I just kind of missed it. Anyway, I won't worry about it. Next up, we got Alex Von Gollum, who writes, Hey, Gio, reporting now from Charlestown. Charlottetown? Is that what it's called? Oh, Charlottetown. I was trying to think of the North Carolina. Okay, PEI, Prince Edward Island. What is/was your most anticipated movie of this month? Happy to see you're doing open mics. I don't know what's coming out this month. I honestly don't. I'm terrible with movie release dates. I know Doomsday is coming out next Christmas, but I honestly couldn't tell you off the top of my head what's coming out this month. I think One Battle After Another is coming out this month. I think it is. I know Tron Ares, which I'm actually really excited about. Tron Ares is coming out in October, but I think One Battle After Another still comes out in September. If it is, that's the one I'm most anticipated for, that I'm most excited about this month, is One Battle After Another. Because a lot of people saying it could be a front runner for Best Picture. So, and I haven't even liked the trailers, but hopefully it's going to end up being really, really good. And thank you for writing in from Prince Edward Island, my friend. All right. Thanks, Alex. Next up, Joe Howland writes, John, how do you think Alien Earth will end? With a lot of blood. First, I'm loving this show. I think this show is great. And the ratings are apparently doing really good. And I love the last episode. That was a lot of carnage. I think all hell's going to break loose in the last episode. I don't know that for sure, but I think it's going to end with a lot of carnage. All right. Next up, Perfect Image writes, Hey, Campea, you're awesome. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Is this an overreaction? Why Spider-Man 2020 not on Disney Plus? It messes the timeline and all of Blade, including TV. I don't know what you're asking. What Spider-Man movie is 2020? I don't know dates, guys. I never know dates off the top of my head. So I don't know which Spider-Man you're talking about. Why Spider-Man 2020 not on Disney Plus? It messes the timeline and all of Blade, including TV. I'm sorry, man. I don't understand what it is you're asking. Now, first of all, if one of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are not on Disney Plus, it's because the Spider-Man movies are not Disney movies. Some people forget that. The Spider-Man movies are Sony movies. And Sony can put those movies wherever they want. They can put them on Disney Plus. They can put them on Disney Plus, or they can put them somewhere else if they want. Now, I've got to believe that eventually they'll all end up on Disney Plus. But if one of those Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and I don't know this, so I'm just saying, if one of those Spider-Man movies is not currently on Disney Plus, it's because they're not Disney movies. Yes, they take place in the MCU, but they are still Sony movies. They belong to Sony. And as the distributor, Sony can put them anywhere they want, but I would expect that they would eventually end up on Disney Plus anyway. All right, thanks a lot for that, man. Next up, Leon writes, "Hey, John, is this an overreaction? Clayface will be nominated in the Best Makeup and Hairstyling category at the Academy Awards of 2027. Well, it could be an overreaction because, honestly, right now, I don't know if they're doing Clayface CGI or not. I don't remember reading if they've made a definitive statement about whether Clayface is going to be a CGI character or not. If it's a CGI character, I don't think there's going to be any hair and makeup Oscar nominations. Now, if it is going to be practical, then yeah, a hair and makeup heavy movie would be considered a prime candidate for an Academy Award. So it all depends. If it's a CGI character, that's an overreaction. If it's not a CGI character, it's not an overreaction. All right, thanks for that, Leon. Next up, we've got Dingus McNally who writes, "John, with only 3 months left in the year, what would you say is your most anticipated movie for the rest of the year?" I can't remember what else is coming out this year. Safe travels and enjoy your trip. Yeah, I don't have a movie calendar in front of me, unfortunately. I mean, but I guess I would have to probably say Avatar. Avatar wasn't my most anticipated movie of the year overall, but for what's left, I've got to imagine my most anticipated one is probably Avatar. Now, Mario Falcone just said in the live chat, Tron Ares. I am actually very excited for Tron Ares. I think it looks really good. Now, it could end up being bad because I didn't like the last Tron movie either, and I was really excited about that one. And maybe I'll, not be all that happy with this one either, but I am excited about it. But I would still probably say that Avatar. Another one, yeah, Badlands. Charlie the Unicorn is saying Predator Badlands. I am excited about that, but I'm not going to lie, I'm more excited for Avatar Fire and Ash. So I'll probably say Avatar Fire and Ash is the one I'm most excited about right now for what's still coming out in 2025. All right. Next up, we got ZOMG Ruler who writes, "John, great seeing you last night. Thank you so much, man. I spoke about my experience on my podcast with Tammy. I'm sending pics now. Thanks for listening to my bad experience." Oh yeah, I remember because you were talking about the what was it? It was the wrestling thing on what is the name of that audio service? Discord. I think you were talking about that was the thing you're talking about. Great meeting you two. Again, one of my favorite things about doing the movie meetups has been like meeting people who have been watching for a long time, and ZOMG Ruler is one that's done that. So thank you, man, and I appreciate you sending the pictures over. All right. Next up, we've got Rick Alfonso, who sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you, Rick. And Rick writes, "Great seeing Psycho with you. Thanks." Another person who was there last night. I had such a good time watching Psycho on the big screen, man. I loved Hitchcock's direction, performance of Janet Leigh and Anthony Perkins. Now I'd like to see Anne Hesh, Vince Vaughn, directed by Gus Van Sant's 1998 version. Have you seen that? You know what? I have not. I got to say, I have not. I don't think anybody would go to see it either. So, but yeah, like Rick was saying, I have never seen Psycho on a movie screen before. I've only ever seen Psycho on TV. Watching it in a movie theater was great. I had such a good time watching it. That was such a groundbreaking movie. So yeah, I had a really, really good time with it. So thank you for that, man. And thank you for supporting me on that level. Thank you for sending in a $20 super chat, dude. That's really generous of you. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for coming last night. All right, next up. Isaac Martinez writes, "I'm going to go see A Clockwork Orange at Regal tomorrow. I can't wait." You know what? I love that we are seeing an uptick right now in classic movies coming back to the movie theaters. We just saw The Thing at the movies. Just saw Psycho at the movies. Jaws just had a theatrical run celebrating its 50th. I just went to go see 40-Year-Old Virgin again. Clockwork Orange is another one of those classic films I've never seen on the big screen before, so I would probably check that out if I had a chance. I just really love that trend right now. And guys, take advantage of it. All right. Another Isaac Sanchez writes, I saw the video on you voicing Clumsy Smurf. Oh my God, I forgot about that. In one of the Smurf movies, you were really good in that. Also, have a great movie meetup day, John. Thank you so much. Our next movie meetup is tomorrow night in the Portland area. But yeah, for those of you who haven't seen it, that was years ago when they did the animated, not this new animated Smurfs movie, but one that was done like 10 years ago. They let me go into the studio and brought me into the sound booth and let me do the voice of one of the Smurfs. Now, obviously, that wasn't used in the movie, obviously, but they allowed me to do the whole thing, and then they gave me the clip of the movie with my voice being the one on it. It was a really fun time. I mean, it also gave me a whole world of respect for voice actors, because that was actually really tough, but I had a good time with it. Thanks for bringing it up, man. I haven't even thought about that in a long time. All right, next up. Rodolfo writes, hey, John, I'm really bummed out not being able to meet you in Denver, but I hope you can make it back up sometime in the future. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved our Denver meetup. The Denver meetup was absolutely wonderful. I had a great time. I'm sorry that you weren't able to go. But yeah, listen, if the movie meetups continue to do really well, if we have a lot of fun, then we'll probably just do it again next year. And maybe you'll see us back in Denver again next year. And hopefully then you can come out and meet us that time. All right, next up. Hart Vandalay Industries writes, hey, John, how are you? I'm great, thank you. Have you checked out any of the new DC Absolute Universe comics yet? No, I have not. I've watched a couple of Rob's, Comics Explained. I've watched a couple of his videos on it, and it looks really good, but I haven't had time to pick up anything lately. I'll be honest with you. The last 2 or 3 years, I have not been able to have time to really pick up almost any comics. I've kind of kept up with what's going on in a lot of the comic story runs through Comics Explained, which is awesome. But I just haven't had time to pick up a lot of stuff. I'm hoping that I'm going to have more time to do that. All right, last question. I don't think I can get it on screen. No, I can't. Actually, let me see if I can do something here to get it on screen. There we go. Connor writes, have you seen the first 3 episodes of Gen V Season 2? Yes, we talked about that a little bit earlier. I was a little bit late. I didn't watch them on the first night that they dropped because I was driving in the van. But I did watch them, I believe, last night or 2 nights ago. I had a chance to watch them. Again, little weird because they clearly had to adapt their screenplay because the one guy died in between seasons. So they had to write his death into the show. They were clearly not planning on doing that. But I think it's off to a good start. And we'll see. And listen, I loved season 1. I hope season 2 can live up to season 1. But I like what I'm seeing so far. All right, guys. I'm going to take a couple. That's all the super chat questions we have because I turned them off a while ago. Do me a favor, though, if you're in the live chat, if you want to ask a question in the live chat, I'll just pick out a couple to ask. See in the bottom of the live chat, I've just put the word question all in capital letters with a colon. If you have a question for me, write that and then your question. And I'm not going to read all of them. And please don't copy and paste and spam it 80 times. But throw in a question or two and I'll pick a few out from the live chat. We're about 30 seconds delayed, so I'll give it a few seconds here. And then I've got to get on the road and start driving towards Portland some more. All right. And there we go. Our first one's come in. Let's see. Densu writes, question, do you think HBO will ever have another hit like Game of Thrones within the next 10 years? Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt they are the best at what they do. Nobody else does television better than HBO. They will absolutely have something like that, I believe. Let's see here. Generic White Male writes, have you played Expedition 33 yet? Nope, still haven't had a chance to play it, but it is absolutely on my list to play. Let's see. The Fanboy writes, you said you wanted to go to the Linkin Park concert recently. Did you? Nope, I didn't have a chance. The schedules did not line up with me traveling to do the movie meetups, and unfortunately, I missed my window to go see Linkin Park. I'm really sad about that. All right, Red Arrow says, will RDJ Doom come face-to-face with RDJ Iron Man over under 45%? I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I'm going to go under 45%. It could, but again, under 45%. Let's see. Rick writes, did you like the meet me at Death Peak moment in Psycho? It's like, yes, I'll be back in an hour and I'll tell you everything. But at least when Hitchcock did it, it wasn't an overused trope yet. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's see. Flamin' Hot Don Cheeto writes, would you watch Back to the Future 2 in the Las Vegas sphere? Probably not. I'm not the biggest fan of Back to the Future 2. Like, I love the first Back to the Future. And I like Back to the Future 2, but I don't think I like it enough that I'd go to watch it in the sphere. Because remember, it's like $150 a ticket to go see a movie in the sphere. So it's got to be one I'd really want to see. So if Back to the Future 1 did, I probably would. But if Back to the Future 2 did it, I probably wouldn't. Let's see. Calvin writes, what's Ann doing while you do the Q&A? Ann is not here with me. Now, Ann came with me, obviously, on the last leg when we did Albuquerque, Denver, Salt Lake City, and Las Vegas. She came with me on that. But she is not with me on this one, which is San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle. Because you guys know Ann is the vice president of a big marketing company. And she works remotely. Their head offices are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And a couple of times a year, Ann's got to go out to Pittsburgh for like a week. And this week is the week Ann had to go to Pittsburgh. So she's in Pittsburgh. I'm north of San Francisco right now, so Ann is not with me for this trip. But she will be with me for the next one that we do. But she's not with me on this trip right now. All right, I'm going to take one more. Let's see here. Super Clark writes, question. What's the chance of having a Henry Cavill Batman, and how would the audience receive it? I think the audience would receive it fine. I know I'd love it. The chances, however, are not very good. Now, I do believe there's a better than decent chance that we will see Henry Cavill in the new DCU, but I don't think it'll be Batman. I would love it if he was Batman. I'd be totally down for that. But I don't think that's going to be the role that he gets. I think it'll probably be something else, but I don't think it would be Batman. But if he did, I think the audience would receive it perfectly fine. And all right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of Open Mic. Thank you so much for being here and letting me do this. I'm just sitting in a Walmart parking lot right now, a few hours north of San Francisco. I am now going to get back on the road and start heading towards Portland for our movie meetup tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to all you guys who are going to be in Portland. I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Thank you to everybody who sent in the super chats because number one, you gave us great fun things to talk about, but number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and everybody involved at the show, thanks you guys so very much for your support. And thank you to all of you guys for taking some time out and hanging out with me here today. I appreciate it so much. I just love talking about movies. I just love focusing on the things that we all love, and it's just really great. And I had such a good time doing it today. Thank you so much for that honor, guys. I really appreciate it a lot. That'll do it for me for now, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.